we are, 1993. Beginning of the deer hunt. One more time. The Lord's been good to us. Time is now 4:45. We're just at the gate, heading in for breakfast. Beginning of the first day. Lights are on. Boys are up. We'll go into the camp and have some breakfast. Forecast today, 3 degrees with flurries. A little frost on the ground. A good day for the hunt. Generally, the first sounds you hear as you enter the camp is the welcoming of the dogs. We've got 5 dogs this year to do the running, I think. So we've got lots of dog power. Now all we need is manpower and gun power. Looking forward to a good hunt. Now we'll go into the camp and here we have some back at the Porcupine. Many a deer shot here. This is where we got our big buck 2 years ago, but the chase was going the other way. This is the first time we've done a chase like this. We're taking it from the east to the north, and just setting the fellows up all a bit different. Here's Robbie sitting and watching the deer, I would imagine, coming down off that side hill. I just heard some geese and I'm trying to find them in the sky. It's pretty windy out here today. There's only been 4 shots fired. Haven't heard any dogs running at all. But there's a lot of noise in the bush because of the wind. A few little red squirrels around, a couple of blue jays, and our old friends, the ravens, are squawking every now and again. I hear some dogs barking off in the distance. We'll turn this on and see what happens. Back on. See. It's hard to tell the dogs from the camp. The dogs that are running because of the wind. I wouldn't have believed it if it hadn't just happened. Little chickadee landed on this little branch right here. And it came over and landed on my shoulder. You can hear them sort of peeping in the background. The gang just north of us just shot 4 shots. Those are the first 4 shots that have been fired since the 2 you heard on camera. Been a long dry spell. There hasn't been much shooting going on this morning, and virtually no dogs running other than ours for that few minutes. Well, it was 9:30 when Louis came out of the bush with the dogs. Tim got a sneaker. Those 2 shots that we heard early in the morning fairly close to me were Tim, and I guess he got one, so Louis gone back in with the 4-wheeler to pick it up and bring it back to the camp. I'm the only one back so far. I'll be back shortly.
Hey! Brad, you got a picture of me with it. No. You know
Tim,
what I
mighty
did?
deer slayer.
A little bit. I held it like this. And I put my
That's a nice smile, isn't it, eh?
That's right,
Eh?
Okay, ready?
It's a successful smile. Oh, that's a nice deer.
Oh, yeah, I'm pleased.
Elaine's runway.
Hey?
Deer slayer Tim. A new day, first hunt in the morning. I've sat here a couple of times before. Sean sat here about 3 years ago when Jeff was hunting with us the first time, maybe the second time. And Sean shot one right over in this area here. This is the chase that last year I shot one up on the Stove runway, which is the next runway over. But Sean's going to take that one this year. This is a long chase. We're here for about 4 hours, so we'll settle in and see what happens. Well, there's just been 2 shots fired. Sounds like one was the first hit and the second was the kill. Close enough that I think probably it was our gang. But we won't know until 4 hours from now when this chase is all finished. Actually, it's 2 chases. Dogs are working hard. Kind of gave me a little thrill to hear that coming through the bush, although it didn't come through like a deer, so I figured it was the dogs. Louis is the dog man, and he'll be on in probably the next half hour or so by the time he walks through the area he's got to walk through. But he'll walk through and come up along the back of up along the top of that ridge there. Looks like if there was anything in our area, it's either gone or there wasn't. So anything I get now will be simply something. The deer turns back, and there's the dog starting to bark right now. I didn't think the shots were that close, but there they start yipping again.
Over here, eh? This must be clover fawn. This one. Yeah, I like that rat.
She's not very fussy about being on top of them. She just likes running.
Over there, we bringing that over here.
Yeah, I'll go around. That was a good load for this thing, though.
I guess. That's a little late. That's an 8-point, right? That's one. That's one Rick got.
That weighs
137
137.
pounds. That's one Rick got.
That's Rick's dad. Oh, we should have did.
Stop.
We should have had bets on it. Everybody put on it.
How much is it?
137. You want to do that with this one? Everybody
We've
put
all
in
got a
a
pretty good idea.
That was more than that.
137.
Wendy,
Well, here, hop off and put me on the scale.
Let's right out.
What do you got behind the 200?
does this stay where it's at here?
No, yeah, don't press that. That's it to adjust it.
for a big one. Is he in any buck pot?
I don't know.
I say 185.
Something to write all these.
Yeah.
91 pounds, right?
Here,
91.
give me a couple of those twos.
Couple? Why do you owe that? Oh.
There. I'm paid up, Sean.
Had a little bet on. John Pilgrim just won himself $11.
No, I mean use that one to tie it up.
You don't have a truck ticket, eh?
That's what I was doing. Then you said switch ends.
Alright, you never went out.
We had a lot of them now.
Did you put your tie that down to the one you got for tying up?
15 years.
I
I haven't signed it yet. No, I haven't signed it. You got a pen?
What's that?
Anybody got a pen?
The buck thing hasn't been won.
Either one of them can't. That's a nice ride.
We get them hanging side by side, there's not much difference in this.
Just a little longer body in this one. Well, they're hanging the same height then. Pretty well.
Higher on over
Weigh
there.
bigger.
We should have weighed Tim. I bet you Tim's weighs 150.
Higher on there, guys.
With his milestone.
on a stretch.
Where's the loop?
I hope Miles is better at that than he is at everything else.
I need one more lad to recon this.
We're gonna need someone to help
That
him
thing's
tie.
gonna be tied up there with his mouth. Try it open.
You'll catch all the rain.
Okay?
Is there a loop on that now? I have the hook on?
Yeah, it's on the legs.
Just that off.
Oh, maybe it's gonna close it. Don't break the horns. Don't break his leg.
Yeah, break the
horns. Come on, turn around.
Okay?
No.
Okay.
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 Get the horns out so everybody can see them.
Okay.
Real cold.
Look at that.
They look like a thickening pond.
At least you're not hurting the population. So there was pups, a whole bunch of dogs that were chasing him.
Oh, they shook them up though, eh?
The other side.
Yeah.
How many come up, Dan? I've only seen two.
So where you get yours? Was that right there at the beginning of the
Yeah.
chase?
First chase.
Where'd you get it?
You're the one that says we hire every day on that corner.
Yeah.
And I was thinking you went out in the way, we always get
This side of
something
yours,
on that
Rich.
corner.
Oh, I don't know about always.
You mean every year?
I was there
This thing on?
15 minutes.
Don't lie,
Convinced that Mountain Dew,
You've shot a lot of deer.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that Mountain Dew runway is just a real good runway to see deer.
Oh,
Yeah,
At a distance.
Person should sit there with the radio and tell the other guys you're coming.
You see 250 yards in every direction, but you never shoot anything.
I like
I think
First
we'll never
time
get
I
around
sat
that.
Did you see one of those deer?
I think you should have
I
three
sat
guys.
on the next
on that
hill.
whole bridge.
We've had a lot better luck though
On
since
that
we
area.
put that trail in there. We watched the end there.
Yeah, we don't shoot very many deer in this end.
Well, every once in a while though, the one tosses at the porcupine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I've got my share off the porcupine.
There's a picture of my buck right up on the wall.
I thought you were gonna say there was a pair of simulated horns.
Just black and all the way down because the dogs are.
Well, I got two or three. I got two off the porcupine.
Coming right around the hill.
He said Dan said it was blocking all the way.
Well, you can run with that.
For a long time.
Dan said that it was blocking all the time.
The dogs were about 40 yards behind it and it came down off the steep hill and it was black and all the way down.
Which the big buck?
Yeah.
Must have been a doe there.
I think he was just tired. Didn't do any dough. Looked like it was beat.
Was it pretty hot? Pretty?
Yeah.
It was steaming pretty good?
Steaming pretty. Yeah.
Still steaming when I got there.
dragging yours out.
Well, I
And Dan
stood on the
joined you.
runway one time and watched
No,
it.
Dan came over,
Bucking
and him and I were dragging my deer out.
Right.
running through
Because
the
there,
trees.
I knew Louis was should've been up by then. We're heading that way.
But the goat was ahead and the buck was not
Well, that's a
up.
fantastic day.
And I heard the chase coming,
Funny the doe buck being the head in this case,
but it's just,
She veered off or something.
You might as well wait and just phone right now.
Probably.
No use phone. He runs over, picks up the deer there.
What's that?
My dad. I helped Luke take care of the dog. So I helped him take the dog. So I came down with the dog. I went down there and went back to help Rick. He pulled his deer out, so I didn't have my gun with me. And then we heard the dogs coming, and Rick said, "Here, use my gun since I already shot one." So I went up on top of the hill and I'm waiting, and I thought I had enough time to go get my gun. So I said, "Rick, here, take your gun down and get my gun." So I just ran and I just picked my gun up and he came over the hill.
Oh,
That's pretty
You
great.
were
Right for where I said.
John, did you rub his face in the gut?
you're all about that. You're all about that.
Pick its head up. Kneel down and pick its head up. That's the best.
Kneel down there, that's it.
Courtney's first.
Yeah, but make sure it's all.
Maybe it's blowing the pieces. Yeah, lay that head down maybe there, that's good. Okay.
I think you should've got it more.
Now, Courtney, do you want to tell us, just for posterity, I'll take a copy of this for you, how you shot that?
Pull the trigger. I started like 200 yards away and I started shooting. I shot 10 shots at it and it went down.
Finally went down after 10 shots.
It went down after 7. I finished it off with 3.
Hard sucker to kill.
Well, congratulations. Between you and John, that's your first deer. Good shot. That was on what runway? Judy, Judy's runway.
It would have died even if I hadn't shot it. But I had to shoot it.
Maybe we could just shove his head up inside him.
Why don't you get in there beside him, Grandpa? That'd be nice.
I wouldn't want to wreck your camera.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't got very big hooves, eh? No, you'd think that was almost a fawn hoof.
Well, that's one, and then Dan got the second one. That was 2 for this chase today.
Okay, Kurt.
All that thing down.
Well, Grandpa's good. Grandpa's good fishing first.
Grandson,
All right.
proud
Get him in?
Stick your tongue out.
Wait, wait,
You should. You want to stand the deer up? I can there.
On its feet?
Hold him with a stick.
Okay.
Can't fall.
Holy, someone really blew the eye out of that one.
I shot him in the head, eh? Need help.
And they're down. You down it?
See if I can do it. Going up. Up again. There's a fair number of holes in that deer. Yeah.
Get down.
Well, this is our last chase for the week. We got the first 2 this morning, then we took another chase over on Bertanis's. Started 2 and they went in right into the swamp and the dogs lost them. Went in for lunch and now we're doing the zinc pail. It's been a good week. We've got 7. I'm just a little above where I usually sit down on Judy's runway. Kind of secluded in a little hollow here. The deer almost have to come right over the knoll in order for me to get shooting, but this is where they want me, so this is where I am. A couple of real big rocks with lots of moss on them. In fact, the rock that I'm going to be sitting on has 3 different kinds of moss. Show it to you in just a second. Sun's coming out, it's getting a little warmer. It's a real cool morning this morning, sitting on the runways. I got my area all cleaned off here that I'm going to be sitting at. Interesting split in the rock there. But there's 3 different kinds of moss. One that's fairly simple, and a different one. This one may be the same as the first, but it looks different to me. Well, we'll settle down now and get ready for the hunt of the zinc pail. Last one of the day. Other than the call of the odd raven, the squawk of a blue jay, things are pretty quiet at the moment. It's just about time for the dogs to start barking if we're going to get a chase, so we just continue to be still and see what happens. I can see the ravens flying that low in the bush. Don't know whether I got it or not. Well, Jim Pilgrim has just gone past me a minute ago, and the truck will be heading out shortly. This puts the end of the last chase for 1993. And again, we'd like to just thank the Freymonds for the privilege of coming and joining them for this week. Just nice to get out in the bush and be quiet and just think of all the blessings that the Lord has given us, both temporal and spiritual and family, and just a lot of good things for which we thank Him. So our guns all unloaded. I guess we'll go back on the road and back in the camp, load the deer, take them into Louis, skin them up. That'll be the end of it for this week, and then we'll get together again next Friday or Saturday for a couple more days of hunting. That's all for now. Well, I'm up on a tree stand. And it's just starting to come down sort of a cross between a snow and a hail. The sky looks like it's going to be like this for a while. Been in here about 20 minutes. The dog says they're going to pick anything up. We should pick something up shortly. This is called the Little Hardwoods. You can see clear sky over there, and you can see the cloud. Peter likes to sit here. He says he gets quite a few sneakers coming through, so he told me to be quiet, so I guess we'll turn this thing off. Wait for the sneakers. Although with the sound of the snow coming down on the leaves, it'll be a little difficult to hear anything going through the bush unless they crack the twigs or something like that. Well, we just finished a chase and nothing happened. So we're going to regroup and do the hardwoods. That's the tree stand I've been on. First time I've been back in this part of the country. Kind of an interesting watch. You can see quite a distance. But today, no shooting. For the next chase, we're going to do the hardwoods. What are you looking at, Peter?
Bushmark on the gable end here. So he had bushmark on the view, and then when we got attention, we got another, so we got some wood. But we got them up there, we carried everything on his back, really.
Give us a little history of this place, Peter.
Not much history.
Well, who lived here and for how long?
Well, Nelson Jeffries lived here, and he lived here for about 40 years.
And who was Nelson Jeffries?
A man that served in the First World War. He got shell shocked, so he didn't like people to noise, so he moved way back in here where it was quiet.
He used to come in here periodically and bring him.
Oh, the last 20 years that he lived, we come in here quite often and brought him his food.
He used to have some friends too, didn't he?
Pardon?
He used to have some animal friends too, didn't he?
Oh yeah, lots of pets. Squirrels and mice and raccoons. We were lugging in food and wondering what he was doing with it all, and so I could see that he had troughs out here where he was feeding them. And I said to him, "How many coons have you got? How many pet coons have you got, Nelson?" He said, I'm not sure how many. I said, "How many? You must have some idea." I said, "I'm not sure. It's either 27 or 28.
20 or 27 or 28 pet coons.
So it took a lot of food.
I guess. You did a lot of hauling to feed some animals. Interesting dovetailing, isn't it?
Yeah, well done.
You know, and he hauled all this.
He carried all this on his back to build this.
Where would he have gotten it from?
I suppose just out here out of the swamp.
Right, yeah.
The lumber, there was an old logging camp way back here, a mile or so. He got the lumber, I just carried it from there.
And he died, what, about...
January 1984, I think.
Oh, there's a plaque on the side of the wall. You'd be able to get enough light, but Serge Tentori carved this. A tree, and it says Nelson A. Jeffrey, 1898 to 1984. And I'm not sure what it says underneath there.
It's the man of the forest.
The man of the forest.
He's got a big tree over here, a limb coming around, and then the squirrel in the corner.
Right. Well, that's really interesting. Well, I wasn't sure. I've been back here only once before, and that's when Nelson was alive. Remember we came back once? And, well, this was when we were duck hunting.